Welcome back to Check the Pulse. Today, as usual, I'm honored and grateful to have a friend of mine, Mr. Paul DiMaria, on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone a little bit, tell them a bit about your backstory with entrepreneurship, and we'll get to where you're at today.
Cool. So funny enough, me and you have known each other freaking forever.
Literally.
But you didn't know me as like the business guy. Like we were talking the other day and you
Yeah.
told me I just knew you as like the party guy because I was always like a big party guy in high school. But yeah, entrepreneurship's a huge part of my life and it started very freaking early. It started, I'd say at like 10, 11 years old, right? So first job I ever had, I was fortunate enough to work for my family business. So very high level. My nonna was a butcher and they had a smoked meats business. So they would like make and sell prosciutto, sopressata, like all this stuff on like a charcuterie board. And then long story short, my family would go to farmers markets and events and they would sell it, right? So I'm 10 years old and my mom would like kind of drag me along on a Saturday morning. And then I would be there basically just like the cute little kid selling sopressata, and people would come and they'd be like, oh, he's so cute. And like I was able to develop sales skills like very well, very early on because of that. So entrepreneurship journey, that was my first job ever, working for my family business, farmers markets. That's where I was able to develop sales skills, communication skills, freaking confidence, like the whole 9 yards. Then, and backtrack a little bit, not entrepreneurship, but my first job ever was newspaper, and we won't get into that because it was just very short-lived and very crap. They paid me $50 a month. I was like, how old was I? Like, I don't know, like probably like 15. So this was after that entrepreneurship part, but still like first job ever. They paid me $50 a month. The newspapers would come to the house and I would have to package all the flyers together. So I'd have to package like hundreds of flyers together, roll them up. They're super dirty. And then I would have to go deliver them to my street. And like $50 a month. It was insane. It got to the point, and then I'll wrap the story up. It got to the point where the newspapers started to come and my mom would be at work and I was like, honestly, dude, F this. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So I started getting the newspapers and putting them behind the shed and like, putting them behind the shed, full out not doing it. My mom would come home. She's like, how was it? I was like, yeah, no, it was fine. It was easy. Like I'm obviously fast at this point. Dude, months go by. My mom goes behind my shed after the winter and there's like stacks of freaking newspaper. And then she was like, what the hell is this? Oh my God, you're going to get in trouble. And that's when I was like, Mom, I'm getting paid $50 a month. This is horse shit. I'm not doing this anymore. And then like, she's like, you need to quit then. You need to quit. So I quit. So anyway, going to the farmers market story, farmers markets. Then I did door knocking. This is where my door knocking journey started. And I started doing window cleaning. Right. So I basically went to a job fair. They ended up saying there was like Wild Wings, Buffalo Wild Wings, all that kind of stuff. The only person that hired me after going to sit down at all these places was a window cleaning company. Right. And I didn't even know it was commission only, but they're like, it's commission only, but we're going to teach you how to sell. And I was like, shit, okay. And they were like, if you do well, you can make $200-300 a day. At the time, like people weren't even making that. So I was just like, okay, I just got to go knock on a couple doors, sell some people, which I can already do and like make good money. Let's do it. So I'd go, we would meet at an office in the morning. We would basically do a little sales training on how to sell the window cleaning. We would all hop into a minivan and they would drop us off in like different locations with a freaking map. And they just say, pick you up at like 7 p.m. Right. And then that's where like the grit and like the sales stuff really started for me, because I got to learn very quickly, like in sales, people are going to say no. There's going to be a lot of rejection and you need to build a mental callus very quickly to be able to go out there, have 100 no's come, but still have that same enthusiasm on the first door as on the 100th door, right? So sometimes I would knock for 50 doors and have nothing. And then, the average person and me at the beginning would get down on myself. And then I'm like, you know what? It's just bringing me one step closer to that yes. And then you knock on the next one, you get a sale, I make $150, for example, and then you knock on the next one and I leverage the first sale and I say, oh, I'm already gonna be here, so we get to save money on gas. We're doing John's next door. Usually it's $250, but we'll do the whole place for $180 and we're still gonna apply the special Rain-X film on the window. Like your neighbor's gonna do it, and then the objections start and we go from there, right? So door knocking was huge. So I did door knocking for window cleaning. Then later on, I went to college for like, after high school, went to college for like, not even a semester. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point. All I knew is I wanted to like make a lot of money. So I went to college. I went to study architecture for a couple of semesters, whatever, not even a semester. just to make my mom happy.
Yeah.
And my mom was so proud. She's like, my son's going to be an architect. Little did she know, I was like, dude, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like at the same time, just funny the way the world works. I got into an insurance company.
Okay.
And basically sat down with a good friend. He showed me the opportunity and he said, dude, like with your sales skills, you have the ability to make X amount of money here and like be in this profession.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me do it part-time while I'm in school. That way my mom's happy. And, you know, if I can build this on the side and it eventually supplements what I'm going to make here in school, fantastic. So I start doing that and start doing very well, like very quick. And then a couple months go by, started making good money. And then like my life was changed forever. I was like, you know what? I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, I know you don't want to hear this, but I dropped out. I dropped out of college. Like I'm basically, I got my life insurance license to sell here. And like, this is what I want to do. And she was like, just scared like any parent because they're like, all they know is like either get up and work hard and make money or get up, go to school and get a good job. Right? So for me to drop out, she was kind of tripping out. She's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, Mom, how about this? I make you a deal. Give me 1 year to make this work. I'm freaking like, how old am I? Like 19 at the time. It's like, give me 1 year. Worst case, I go back to school at 20. True. Who cares? Give me 1 year to make this work. And if I don't make it work, I promise you'll go back to school. Right. She's like, okay, cool. So I sold the shit out of my mom on that. She was like, okay. So I do that, and within 6 months, it's done. Making a full-time income, doing very well. This life insurance company gave us the ability to build a business within a business, right? So to like hire and train and develop life insurance agents on our team. Yeah. So that way, I have a financial interest in making sure they do well, and when they do well, I do well.
Right.
So started building a team. We were recruiting, like we were the fastest recruiting team in all of Canada, and we were the youngest team. Wow. So we were recruiting 50, 60 agents a month. And obviously they're not all going to stay. Right. But like out of 50, 60, you find like a diamond in the rough and you find 1 to 5 people that are willing to go full time and really make it work. So that's where I started. The life insurance company started learning how to train, develop, and lead a team. Yeah. And then after that, there was just some issues with promotions in the company because there's like different levels in the company. There was different promotions, different problems with promotions in the company. And then basically we all just kind of went our separate ways. So the team we built there, we all ended up getting into the HVAC industry, which is like so random, so random. But we saw people making really good money in the HVAC industry. Again, door knocking, going on appointments, all that kind of fun stuff. So as we're transitioning out of the life insurance company, obviously it's a very scary time because I'm like, shit, like this was supposed to be the rest of my life, you know? And like I have my life like right in front of me at the palm of my hands, about to make like crazy money as a like 20-year-old, 21-year-old, however old. And then I'm like, this is a big risk, but like I was like, okay, like let's do it. If there's issues here, let's do it, right? We go to the HVAC industry, start doing well pretty quick. Again, it's just door knocking, selling furnaces, ACs, air filtration units, stuff like that, right? Very quickly on, I realized that it wasn't the best industry in terms of like integrity, because a lot of the ways these guys were selling was I would come into your home and I'd say, hey, Christina, how's it going? Look, you know, you have this furnace. I can replace it, and the cost efficiency it's going to save you is going to offset the new payment that you have. Okay. Right? So yeah, it's going to save you $60 a month and you're going to pay $60 a month. So it's a wash and you get a brand new product. Little did I know, because I'm so young, we're signing them to like almost a 10-year lease, lien on the house, like bad stuff. Wow. Yeah, bad stuff. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, I didn't feel good about it. So I told all my team and my friends, I'm like, look, guys, I can't do this, and I can't even properly lead you and feel good about myself being in an industry like this. So I'm out. For sure. Like, I'm out. Yeah. So everyone, my whole team, everyone kind of just like dwindled. Right. And everyone just is doing what they're doing today, just normal stuff, whatever. It's funny how over time, you always end up where you're meant to be.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Like always, always, always. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, about like trusting God and just like trusting just whatever's happening right now is for the best, because I've seen it. So after that, we all dwindle. I go back to life insurance sales. I do life insurance sales for a couple of years, start doing very well from home. And then I'm also doing life insurance sales, like going into people's homes, like doing the presentation in front of them, like at the table. Yeah. And then again, started doing very well, but I felt like I was capped at a certain point. Yeah. Felt like I was capped, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I could be doing a lot more. I feel like I could be making a lot more money. And I feel like I have a lot more to offer to this world than
Yeah,
just this.
for sure.
Right. And I saw the time it took to get to the next level in that industry,
Yeah.
and it would have jeopardized my quality of life and family time. So I was like, no, I'm not working at frickin' 11 at night calling a different province when I could be like spending time with family. So
For sure.
not happening. So after that, then I saw, this is where the whole real estate starts.
Yeah.
So then I saw a good buddy of mine that was actually in the life insurance company with me.
Okay.
So it's funny how freaking everything just connects.
Yeah.
So one of my good buddies was in real estate, started doing very well. And my whole life, everyone was always telling me, you know, you should be a realtor. Like, are you a realtor? Like, Baba, you would do so well because I'm charismatic, I'm funny, like I'm energetic, and I'm very sharp when it comes to sales.
Right.
So I just had that in the back of my head, and I said, you know what, let me call my buddy and see what's going on. So I said, hey, dude, come over and tell me what's going on, because obviously it seems like you're doing well,
Right.
and, you know, I'd love to look into it. He comes over, he tells me what's going on in the industry, what he has going on where he is. Long story short, I'm like, okay, dude, if I go study to get my license, I'd love the opportunity to work with you guys. And like, is that a thing? Like, are you guys growing? And he said, yeah, sure, whatever. Fast forward, I get my license. I had to absolutely grind like an animal because I was friggin' selling insurance and then at the same time selling insurance and then also getting my license. So it was like morning till night. Like, I didn't have a second to breathe because I wanted to do it like as quick as I could. So then finally got my license, and then I go to my friend, and he'll watch this and he'll see this. And I was like, hey, dude, I'm ready to go. Like, can you basically take me on? And he was like, yeah, let me talk to like the broker, who's like my brother-in-law now. It's funny. But let me talk to like the team leader and we'll see. At the time, the team leader, who was Tyler, he was like, you know, buddy, like I'm getting married right now. So like, I'm not really looking to like take anyone on because I feel bad. I wouldn't be able to give you like my full attention because I have a wedding to plan and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm like, I just want to surround myself by you guys because I know like you're doing well. And if I surround myself by you, even if I don't get direct coaching, but I'm just in proximity and I can hear how you make a freaking call, it's going to get ingrained into my system. So I would just love to be around you. And then he kind of still said like, I don't know, whatever. And then a couple weeks go by and I'm like, shit, okay, I have my license now. So I gotta find a brokerage now, you know? So then my buddy Anthony ended up messaging me and he said, hey, you know what? How about you just come have a lunch with us? So maybe he'll meet you and he'll like you, and then he'll take you in. Yeah. I was like, sick. We go for lunch, and that was it. Like, obviously, like, he liked me, he loved me. He could tell, like, I'm a shark in sales. He could tell I was very sharp. And I told him, I said, he asked me, he's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want from me? Right. And I said, dude, teach me how to make X amount and teach me how to sell X amount, and I'll do whatever you say. Like, and people can ask him, and like, he'll tell you the same thing. I said, tell me what I got to do. I'll put my pride aside. Obviously, you're in a position that I would love to be in. Right. So I'll do it. Like, if you tell me I got to go knock on doors and for 5 hours and then come home, go to a networking event, like, I'll do it. Yeah. So tell me what I got to do and I'll do it. And he said, sick. He's like, okay, you know, I'm getting married right now, so I can't give you everything. I'm like, no problem at all. I just want to be around you. So let me be around you. Cool. Start going to the office, start spending as much time as I can in the office and surrounding myself by all the agents that are doing well. Right. And then fast forward, I was able to do very well very quickly for a lot of reasons. Number one, for the coaching, right? Like, I always had the sales skills, I always had the communication skills, but I didn't have the real estate language. Right. Yes. And that's always something that could be learned and taught, right? So I came in knowing how to generate a lead. I came in knowing how to nurture a lead because of life insurance and door knocking. Yeah. And I just needed to get brushed up. Right. You know what I mean? And also I needed to get brushed up in a sense of being more professional, because so funny, when I first joined the group, like, I was like texting in the group chat and just texting like I was texting my friends. Right. You know when you text your friends and like you would say your, but you would spell it like you are. Yeah. Because you're just lazy and you're just like whatever. So I'm used to texting people like that my entire life because I was never in like a crazy professional setting like this, minus life insurance. So I'm like in the group chat, there's like a couple people and I'm texting like the wrong yours, just like the wrong vocabulary, and everyone's like dying, just like chirping me. So I had to get brushed up over time, which I did, just because of like the proximity to the people around me. So it was funny. So, and then fast forward to today, like we'll jump into it, but that's pretty much my entrepreneurship journey. And just to take a step back, before all that, I've always wanted to be a freaking soccer player. This is random and off topic, but always wanted to be a soccer player. That's where like the hard work developed. And then after soccer, I was a ballroom dancer. which
You
is
did
like
ballroom dancing?
yeah, which is like the most random thing in the world. I did ballroom dancing because my father started dating a dance teacher, and my parents separated 15 years ago. So he was like, I want to spend time with you, so come to the dance studio. And I was like, that's so weird. I'm a soccer player. And like, I got to put on one-piece suits with like sparkly, bedazzled V-neck shirts. And I'm like, Dad, this is kind of odd, but like, I'll come. So I started dancing for a little bit and then got very good at dancing. Like, I've always been an athlete. And then that dwindled. And then now we're back to where we are with real estate.
That's really, I didn't know you were a ballroom dancer.
No one does.
Sick.
I have videos of when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I ballroom danced here in Woodbridge, Marycroft, and it was a studio with like Russian teachers.
Serious
and
shit.
It was serious, like it was really serious.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take a single step without them, like without my whole body moving in the proper direction.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Did you do any competitions with that?
No, I did like showcases and
All
stuff.
right, that's still sick.
Yeah. So that was my entrepreneurship journey, and that brings us to real estate now. Yeah.
All right, well, that's packed for sure. But I think, as you mentioned earlier, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And every like a milestone you went through or every trial or tribulation led you to where you are today. But I think a big thing that you kind of had privy of learning really young that some people have to learn later is door knocking, which is in comparison to cold calling. And like doing it at such a young age, like you said, you had to build that like mental tenacity, like to, you know, people are going to say no. And I think for me, like the first time I had to cold call was like 20 working at the bank.
Yeah.
But I was nervous. I'm like, people are going to say no, they're going to hang up in my face, especially from the bank. It's like, no one wants a call from the bank. So like, it was not it. So what's something that you really learned then when it came to hearing that no, or like, it's not going to happen today, especially because you were young? Because I feel like people look at age when you show up to their door, like, who's this kid? That you've carried with you now until today. Like, what's something you can maybe tell someone that's in that position, whether they're younger or older, that needs to start cold calling or door knocking and they're nervous?
Yeah, it's a numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. There's going to be people that are just flat out unclosable. There's going to be people that are flat out rude, and it is what it is. You're not going to close them, right? Your job is to be able to close the people that are closable. If there's someone that can buy and wants to buy, and you don't sell them a product that's going to benefit them, then you're doing them a disservice, right? So my thing is, it's a numbers game. And I seen it from an early age. I had to knock, sometimes, I'll never forget this day, I had to knock on like 200 doors this one day for window cleaning. I got dropped off at 10 in the morning, and it was 6:30 p.m. in the summer, no sales. And I was like pissed off. I'm like, people were rude. People were like, get off my driveway, all this stuff. And then I was like, you know what? Like, F this. Like, let me just keep going. Let me give it like one more push. Let me just snap on this street right now, and let's see what happens. And it was like 6:30. And I snapped on this one street. I knocked on the first door, sold them, and I leveraged that sale. And then I basically ended up selling 10 homes on a single street the last hour, just because I didn't give up. And also because I had to go through all those no's to get to my yeses. And then I made my money for the day plus some, right? So you got to go through the numbers. You can't be discouraged along the way. Like if you're not gonna, when you knock on the first door, you're excited, you're energetic. As you get to the 20th door, 30th door, people are telling you to F off. People are calling you a scammer. Get off my driveway. I don't want your service. Like you start to get discouraged. You start to get down on yourself. That's where you got to keep pushing, right? Because I've seen it so many times. That's where the next yes is. Like the next door is the next yes, and that's where you're gonna make your money. But if I go to that door and I knock and I'm like, I'm down, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I'm not like my rock star self, maybe I won't close them. You know what I mean? So, and I've also seen that, like, I'll teach my my agents that work with me the same thing. I'll be like, dude, like, it's good we went out here today and people shit on us. It's good because it's going to build a mental callus for you, and it's going to have you realize that it's a numbers game. I even have it, I talk to them about like business too. Like in business, any business, you're taking losses. People like to portray themselves as like a god in their industry, like they never take losses. Like I'm okay to be vulnerable and say like, dude, you take losses and it's completely normal. It's a good sign because it shows you're in the trenches and you're doing business. You wouldn't be able to lose business if you weren't like doing business, right? And also it's a part of the game. And also something good is going to follow if you continue to do the right things and you continue to be disciplined and continue pushing. I've taken small losses. I've taken almost close to 6-figure losses. And at the very beginning of my career, and this is like massive, like beginning of my career, I would take a loss and I would be out for 4 days, like 5 days. Like imagine for yourself, like getting a massive contract, it's all good. You're like, holy shit, this is going to be like a massive part of my business. And then you lose it and you're like, shit, you know, what the hell? And also you start thinking about the money too. Like
that's what gets you down the most though. It's the contract, but it's also like, obviously when you make a big deal, you're like, you start planning your life and what's going to happen. And yeah, okay, I'm going to get this amount in the year or whatever. And then it goes. I've literally had it happen. And you're just like, okay. And like, same thing, right? Like first time I was like done for a week. I'm like, no one talk to me. Like I'm pissed. But then you bounce back, right? And like you learn the more losses you take with anything in life, the moment you get beat down, you come back even stronger, you know?
Yeah, and it builds a mental callus. Like I'm huge on having a mental callus. Love David Goggins, all those guys.
Yeah.
But so I would take losses and I'd be out for like 4 or 5 days, right? Yeah. And I would make it even worse for myself. I would go down a dark hole, start eating like shit, not go to the gym, just do things to make it worse instead of just saying, okay, you know what? It happens. It's a part of business, and move on. Alex Hormozi talks about the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is their ability to get back to work after taking a massive loss, right? Because the average person is going to take a loss. They're out for a week. Like I've seen it. I've done it myself multiple years ago, and I've seen it with colleagues, and I'll text them like, hey man, just, it's normal. Get up and get to work, you know? Because you sitting there and being depressed is literally going to do nothing. Like nothing's going to come from it. But if I take a loss and I use that loss as fuel for the next one, and it motivates me to get to work, shit's going to happen, right? So I've taken so many losses, so many big losses, and some of them I could have controlled. Some of them, maybe I didn't say something or maybe I didn't do something important, and it is what it is. You learn from that and you make sure you never do it again, or else you're going to lose again. Or some of them were just out of my control. Like you do everything right. You said everything right. You did everything right. And they just end up going a different route. And it is what it is. But what I've learned is, like, I've taken like close to 6-figure losses today. And then that afternoon, I'll get a call from someone and they'll end up in my industry. They'll say, oh, like I want to sell and then I want to buy it. I'm like, holy shit, lost 6 figures here. That was uncontrollable, but I found it here. What the fuck was the point of being down on myself in between there? For what? It's a waste of time. Nothing good comes from it, right? So now I'm huge on, like, if I take a loss, I honestly, now I take a loss and like, okay, universe, like you want to fuck with me? Like no problem at all. Like I'm gonna make that back like 10x, right? And it's happened. Like I've had clients text me and say, oh, you know, in our industry, like I got to use another realtor. Like, 'cause in my industry, there's so many realtors. Everyone's cousin's a freaking realtor. So they're like, oh, I got to use a realtor because I don't want to cause any family drama. No problem. All the power to you. I lose that. I get a call the next day and I get 2 more buyer clients or seller clients, whatever. So there's no point being down on yourself. Also on the listing side for my industry, like there's times like you get an offer and you know your clients really should take it, for example, like it's over what the home is worth, but maybe they just can't see it because emotions are involved. So it doesn't sell, and then you've said and done everything you can to have them see the value in the offer. They don't take it, and then like at the early stages of my career, I'd be down on myself only for it to sell for either the exact same amount or more within the next 2 weeks to a month. So I was like, dude, what the hell was what's the difference? Like in terms of like commission, let's say I made $1,000. What I'm going to make, what's the difference between me making $1,000 today or me making $1,000 in a month? No difference.
It's true.
But 100%. Like what, along the way, I'm going to like be down on myself and I'm freaking going to like put myself in a hole. No point. So I'm massive on that. I'm massive on, it's a numbers game. I'm massive on it just being a part of the game and just managing your emotions along the way, right? Because your emotions are everything. Like if I can't manage my emotions and I'm gonna let that beat me up, it's not like I'm not gonna be able to generate new business. I'm not gonna be able to, you know, speak to people in a way that's gonna move them along the line of the sale. All that kind of fun stuff. So I'd say it's a numbers game. That's the biggest thing I'd contribute that to.
And I even think something like, when it comes to those tough times, taking those losses, I'm the same. I used to sit in it, and something I've really learned to tell myself, and I literally learned this in high school. I'm also religious, but like any higher power you believe in, like let go and let God. And the moment I let a situation go and stopped getting so fixated on the fact that it was a loss or it wasn't working out, and I just left into the hands of like a higher power, all of a sudden pieces start to come into place. Same thing. I've lost a client that like I needed maybe, or like whatever the situation is, they're important. I'm pissed, whatever. Then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Just, I trust you. Like whatever's about to happen. boom, next day, bigger client, more jobs, whatever. So that's a big thing I've learned as well that I think you can definitely relate to. And then tying that into, I think, even just social media. Like, you're big on being raw on social media. And when you say show your losses, yes, there's people that position themselves as like experts, but without showing their losses. You literally post cold calls where people are like, no, sorry, like not today. And I when I saw you do that the first time, I'm like, good for him, man. Like, people don't do that. They'll be like, oh, cold call is successful. Like, you got to do this to be a successful realtor. And it's like, that's great. We know that. But how many of those like actually didn't close? And that, I think, will translate into the trust that now potential clients have for you. They see the work you're putting in behind the scenes. They see how you're dealing with those failures or those shutdowns. And they know you're going to be that exact same hustler when you got to go get a deal for them. So like, to you, how important is it to be raw and authentic on socials to help leverage your personal brand, but also what you do for business?
Yeah, so I'd say socials are massive, especially for me. Like, I'll do 95% of my business off socials.
Wow.
It's insane. Like, it blows my mind. I've sold property off stories. Like, you'll see, you follow me. Like, I'll drop your email. I've posted a story and sold a condo that night and made what I had to make, right? I've sold condos off the note section on Instagram. Yeah. That's why you'll see me put for sale, and people will inquire. And as fast as like tonight, I'll show them. They buy it, done. Yeah. Right. So socials is a huge part of my business. Absolutely love it because I've seen what it's been able to do for my business, the money it's been able to make me, and the way I can leverage it. Right. Like, for me to go out there and knock on 100 doors, like, that takes time, that takes effort. And yes, it's a very good way of generating business, and I'll always do it. I can probably generate more business by posting a single story or just consistently posting content as opposed to door knocking, right? So I saw that very quickly. Like, funny enough, it's because of my girlfriend, I think. Like, before I was on the team, as you know, my girlfriend works on the team. Like, we work on the team together. And I saw she's big on TikTok. And I joined the business and I was like, holy shit, like, she's huge on TikTok. She just generated X amount strictly from TikTok this year, just from posting educational videos. Like, I'd be an idiot not to just post videos, right? So I saw that very quickly, and then I started posting videos. And at the beginning, just like anything in life, like, obviously you're not gonna get the traction at the beginning, for sure, right? So like, I'm out, it's like going to the gym. People want to go to the people want to get in shape, but they don't want to go to the gym. And they can go to the gym 2-3 days, and if they'll go on the scale, and if they're not down like 20 pounds, they're like, this isn't working, I'm done, and they stop. Right? Same thing with social media. Like, people will post a story, or people will post a post, whatever, a reel, not get as many likes as they want, or not get any inquiries, and they'll be like, shit, this doesn't work. And it's like, no, it works. You just have to consistently do it, and you need to do it a lot more than anyone else in your industry, because if they're doing it more, the eyes are going to be on them. Right? So I was able to see that very quickly. So now, again, sold off the stories. I've sold off reels. Like, I've had people comment on my reels, hey, can you send me information on this? I send it, we're out, and then they end up buying, and then they refer me over. So socials is freaking huge. The importance of being raw on it is huge as well, because I've had a lot of people call me and they're just like, hey, dude, I've been following you for a long time. And like, I love what you're about. I love how transparent you are online. And I'd love to work with you. I'd love to, like, I'm looking for a condo in Vaughan, or I'm looking for a condo in Mimico. I know you work there. Why? Because I post about it and I talk about it consistently. And they say, I want to work with you. Right? So it's not like, it's subconsciously building rapport with people without even me having to build rapport, right? Like, I told you before this podcast started, it was so funny. Like, so many people are watching, and it blows your mind, and you're like, holy shit, are you watching? My sign fell on Highway 7, and some guy texts me. He had no display picture either.
Just random.
Random guy on TikTok. No display picture. I follow him, he follows me, never talked, and he's like, hey, bro, just so you know, your sign fell from the wind on Highway 7. And I was like, I looked at it, I'm like, hey, man, like, thanks so much. Whatever, I appreciate it. And then I go to Highway 7, it fell, I knocked it in. And then, me just being a salesman, what did I do after? I took a picture, I sent it to him, and I said, hey, bro, it's up now, thanks so much. No problem. And now we're talking. And obviously I sprinkle in, if you want to do anything real estate-wise, I'd love to be a resource of info for you. Boom, because I'm always just in sales mode. But anyway, that's just the craziness that comes with socials, right? And my thing is, like, consistency. We were talking about this before. Consistency. Like, there's not a single day ever you'll see my page and I don't have a story on my story.
True. That's
right?
true.
I'm
Yeah.
very likely either the first one there or the first 5. I would go to parties and some of my friends would be like, bro, you're killing it on socials, but like I had to fucking mute you, man. like don't take it the wrong way. Like I had to mute you. Like you were just too much. Like you're always there. You're the first guy, like every time. And I'm like, yeah, man, that means I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right? And I'm the guy on the team that is the most intense when it comes to socials because again, I've seen what it did for me. And when I see my colleagues and my friends and like the people that I love on the team that I want to see do well, they're not posting. I'm like, guys, like I'll chirp them. I'll be like, hey man, like never mind, are you a realtor? Are you alive or did you die 6 months ago? Because if someone looks at your page right now, like it looks like you died or you're in a coma. Honestly. So I'll text them and I'll be like, bare minimum, you need 3 to 5 stories a day. And also, we were talking about this off camera. It can't just be, in my industry, real estate. Like, it can't. Like, because it gets boring. Like, once you start shooting new content and posting new content, people are like, whoa, like, that's cool. That's a new style.
He likes that. Or, like, he does that. Oh, you snowboard? Oh, you go to the gym? Like, you know, it's those little factors.
That all just builds the personal brand. I'm massive on personal brand. So yeah, I'm the most intense on the team. I'll text them in the group chat even in the morning and I'll say, hey guys, like, oh, this is huge in our industry. If you can't market yourself, how the fuck do you expect a client to trust you with marketing their $1 million house? Like, have you lost your mind? And then people will be like, oh, you know, I'm just not a social guy. I don't really like it. Buddy, sucks, man. I don't like door knocking in -10. Do you think I'm not going to go? No, I'm going to go because I'm hungry and I want to generate business and want to do well, right? So as much as you don't like socials, too bad. Like if I told you, this is what I tell them. If I told you I have a $100,000 check at the end of the year and all you have to do, and I'll give it to you, all you have to do is post 1 to 3 stories a day and maybe post like 2 posts a week. Do you think you'd be able to do that? Oh shit, yeah, 100%. Well, I'm like, well, that's what happens. That is literally what happens. One TikTok last year made me probably not in terms of money amount, but sold 10 properties. One single TikTok.
Wow.
One single TikTok I posted. And obviously I posted it and I consistently kept reposting it on my story. It's on TikTok. I kept talking about it. I kept framing it in a way where, you know, people should buy it. Why? Because they should. And I ended up buying one there as well. And back to just selling stuff. We only sell and talk about, and I say this online, we only sell and talk about stuff that we would buy ourselves. I would sell to my own mother or that we believe in, right? Because I don't care to make a quick buck. I don't care to sell you something 4 or 5 hours away or like 6 hours away in Timmins. I have a buddy who bought in Timmins and he screwed himself, so he's going to laugh at this. I don't care to sell you something in Timmins because like for $300,000, for example, because I don't believe in Timmins. I don't believe in the area. I don't believe in the development, the employment. I just don't. So I'm not going to sell you that. I'll refer you. I'll happily refer you. But that one TikTok, back to that, one TikTok sold over 10 properties for me. Why? Because I consistently talked about it. I framed it in a way that, you know, made them see the value in it. And I didn't. This is something Tyler taught me about marketing and just like being on socials. It has to be a campaign. It can't just be one post, one and done, right? What a lot of people like to do in my industry and just in life is they like to try something. Like I see you doing something that's cool. You're drop shipping, whatever. You're making a ton of money. And then I'm here and I see that. I'm like, shit, let me go try that. I go try drop shipping for like a week. It's not working. I didn't make 10 grand that month. And now I'm like, okay, shit. I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't working. What's the next shiny object? Oh, it's that, whatever. And then you hop to that. People do that their whole life. They spin their wheels and that's why they end up where they end up, right? In my industry, it's like a lot of agents always want to sell the new sexy, shiny product or the new asset class, right? So maybe this year they'll go all in on this, right? And then it doesn't work. Okay, shit. Now let me try to sell just commercial or just residential. Right? And like they'll try it for a bit, doesn't work, try it for a bit. The same mindset of you wanting it quick is the same mindset, coincidentally, that actually postpones your success. Like literally. Instead of just putting your head down and doing what works, like and instead of putting your head down and doing what works, people just like to try different things, go to the next shiny object, and it just prolongs the process. It really does. But the one TikTok, 10 properties, and I showed my team, and I'm like, look, this is what happens when you post. I'm like, do you like this amount of sales? Do you like this amount of commission? Because this is what happens when you sell a good product and when you consistently promote it and you promote it in the proper way. So socials is massive for me in my business. Super passionate about it. We do a lot of outreach as well, as I'm sure you do. Like every business, you have to be doing outreach, and that's tough for you to be doing, obviously, because you need to focus on like the actual business stuff during the day. So if you have to outsource it, you do, which I do. So a lot of people will like, it's funny because I have my social media manager like do all my outreach. And because their job is to message everyone, like it's funny, they'll message like my cousin.
Your cousin's
and
like,
it's like a different last name. So she'll be like, oh, I'm Paul's cousin, whatever. And they'll text me and be like, hey, what the hell? Did you get hacked? And I'm like, no, like that means they're doing their job anyway. But outreach is great too. So socials, like the stories was huge, posts is huge, consistency is huge, and then the outreach as well. And then also just being on all the platforms, right? And then when you're on the platforms, like being transparent, like you talked about how I do the cold call videos, right? Like I'm not afraid to show people the losses and inspire a younger agent coming into the industry to see how it really is. Because from the outside, like my industry looks unreal.
It looks glorified.
It looks unreal. People are like, holy shit, you're going to these events like Q Tower downtown. There's friggin' Aston Martins everywhere, all this stuff. And a lot of realtors are realtors just so they can come to those events. I swear to God. It's insane. And another thing about like online is it's very easy to make it seem like you're doing better than you are on Instagram. Obviously. And if you're in an industry where you have to promote yourself, like I'm not against it. Like it's a good thing, right? Like if you're not busy, but you have the ability to show people that you are busy, do it. All the power to you, because that's what's gonna get you freaking busy.
100%.
Because people want to work with a busy person, right? It's like if we go to the hairstylist or the barber, I always tell my team this. Do I want to go to a guy who cuts one person a month, or do I want to go to someone who cuts 10 people a month, for example? It was so funny. I went to a barber shop like a couple years ago, and my normal barber couldn't cut me. Okay, so this is a hilarious story. So my normal barber couldn't cut me, so he ended up saying, my guy's going to take care of you, like one of the other barbers. I was like, sick. I was like, okay. So the guy starts cutting me, and I've never met him. Super nice guy. Never met him, never seen him in the barber shop, whatever. He starts cutting me, and he's taking a little bit longer than usual. He's moving a little bit more awkward. So like we're shooting the shit and we're talking. And I was like, so how long have you been here? Whatever. And he's like, I'm like, oh no, what barbershop did you come from? And he was like, oh no, I didn't come from a barbershop. Like I used to cut at home, like in my garage. I was like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. And I'm just like, how many people would you like cut usually? Like how was your business? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Like I just here and there, like for my boys. And like I would cut like one of my boys a week. I'm like just getting into it. As he's cutting my hair, I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm done.
You're like, it's done. It's
I'm walking out of here. I'm fucking done. I should just buzz it, man. Just buzz it. So, but going back to the importance of just being in front of everyone and showing them you're busy. You want to be busy. You want to show people you're in the trenches, and you want to show people like the reality of the business, right? That's why I'm not afraid to talk about losses or show my cold call videos where people are telling me, look, buddy, like I'm not interested. Go F yourself. You know what I mean? Because it's part of it. Like you're not gonna be able to achieve a level of success that you want if you're not willing to take the losses along the way. Like the losses are massive. I'm always talking about it in my group chat. Like, hey, like most importantly, manage your emotions right now. If you took a loss, it is what it is. I'm the first person to come in the group chat and say, hey guys, I just lost $75,000 yesterday. It's shit. It really is, but it is what it is. And I'm going to use this as fuel to go find the next client. And I'm going to go door knock for fucking 5 hours today. And I'm going to find new business. And if I don't find it today, I'm going to find it tomorrow, because I believe in what I do. I believe in my process. And I know you can drop me anywhere in Toronto. You can drop me anywhere in the world. And I believe in myself enough to know that I can talk to you. I can be charismatic, build rapport in 10 seconds, and I can generate business. I've sold property to literally everyone. Funny story. My dental hygienist. I'll tell you a funny story about my dental hygienist. Has nothing to do with socials, but whatever. I'll just tell you the story. Dental hygienist. I sit in the new chair, and it's a new hygienist. I never met her, so we're shooting the shit. She's doing my teeth. And she says, so what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, I'm a realtor. And she stops. And this is because my industry's just been flooded
100%.
with people that aren't the best. And she's like, are you a real realtor though? Or are you just like one of those other realtors? I'm like, no, my friend. Like I'll sell 20 to 40 million a year myself. I'm a real realtor. I'm very good at what I do. And I'm full time. And then she's like, okay, this guy doesn't play games. He's very good. Starts doing my teeth, cleaning my teeth. We start talking about real estate. And this like 40-minute appointment ended up turning into like an hour and a half.
Holy shit.
Because she's doing my teeth,
And she's let you talk
asking
too.
a question, and then stopping. And then I would just absolutely fly. This is what's going on with rates. This is what's going on with the scarcity of land and the speed in which we build and how this is going to eventually push prices up. So now is the best time, whatever. And she can tell just by the confidence in my voice that he's really good at what he does. And if there's anyone that can lead me to the promised land from A to Z and get this done, I want to use him. So at the very end, she said, I want to buy an investment property. I really need help. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? I was like, yes. A week later, I sold her an investment property in London, Ontario. It made like 10, 15 grand.
Wow.
Just like that.
Wow.
Right. And just touching on that, I've told my team that like so many times. I'm like, this is the importance of being ready and having confidence when you speak and knowing your product like the back of your hand. Because if I sat there and I said, yeah, I'm a realtor, and I didn't have any answers to her fucking questions, she would have just said, oh, okay, and clean my teeth. But because I spoke with confidence and I was sharp and I knew my shit, boom, 2 weeks later, sold her something. She's super happy, and here we are today. Right? So that was a funny story I wanted to tell you. But back to socials. I'm huge on telling my team, hey guys, like you need to be on socials every day, because at the end of the year, it could literally pay you like multiple six figures. And if you didn't do it, like that's just free money. That's just not there anymore. So massive on socials for sure.
And I think even now, like you mentioned a few times too, like your industry is flooded with a lot of like bad people in the industry, quote unquote, which ruins it for the good. And it's like, okay, so now you do need to differentiate yourself. And how are you going to do that? And we were talking about this off camera. So people know now they have to leverage social, but they don't know how to do it in their own way. So they see what you're doing that's successful, or the next guy, oh, I'm going to try to copy him. But it's like, guess what? You're not him. So even if you try to do it, you may not have as much success because you're not his personality, you're not his energy, you're not his knowledge. And I think that's a key factor in any business, not just real estate. Like if you're going to leverage social, do it in a way that works for you. Sure, look at what he's doing that's successful, but how can I now put my spin on it with my personality and my knowledge? And I think another big thing that you touched on is you're very knowledgeable. And I find a lot of realtors, like, sure, they get asked the same questions. How are the rates? Should I buy? Should I sell? That's basic. But what can you tell me that just as someone that's not in real estate that I may not know, that I'm like, shit, this guy is educated. And you show that a lot on socials. But where I think this also comes into proximity and mentorship, like a lot of how active you're on socials, like Tyler's active like that. And I see it like he's really learning from him, and that goes to also showing your success, because obviously he's very successful in what he does. So like how important is it for you in your upcoming, or to anybody that's kind of getting into the space, to have the right mentorship, not just jump into any brokerage, and the proximity of who's in that mentorship always being around?
Yeah. Oh God. Like massive. It could literally prolong your process by like 5 years, I'd say.
Wow.
So when I got in the industry, I had the opportunity obviously to go anywhere, as you do, right? And I saw it. I said, look, I can get into the industry and I can probably just spin my wheels for the next 3 to 5 years. I'm going to have to go through it and learn what works, what doesn't work, how to generate a lead in real estate, because I know how to do it everywhere else that I sold in, how to generate a lead in real estate, how to nurture a lead, because it's a longer process, how to nurture a lead, and how to educate them on the market and position them in a way where they're in the best position possible to make money or be in their family home, right? So I looked at that and I'm like, I can waste 5 years, or I can just join a team where I'm going to get direct mentorship and I'm going to surround myself by agents who are doing well, who are top tier agents, some of the best agents in Canada, literally, and I can prolong the process, right? When you join a team, obviously the team leader has a financial interest in making sure you do well, because he's going to get a cut when you sell something. There's no secret to it. But that's why he has an interest in making sure you do well. So I'd rather make, for example, 90% of 100 grand than 100% of nothing. Literally. You know, and that's what a lot of agents do. They come in with their pride and they're like, oh, that team leader is going to take a cut from me. Yeah, but he's also going to teach you how to sell and how to go out there and educate clients and position them in the best way possible. If it's not for you, all the power to you, no problem at all. But I'd say this: if I got into the industry without a team leader, without a team, and surrounding myself by a very high level team, and I was floating in a brokerage, myself, I would have got it done probably in 2 years because I believe I'm a different breed.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I'm a hustler. A lot of people are, but I think that's what I am. The average person's 5 years.
Right.
5 years, and it's not even like the hardest part of that is the mental part.
Right.
It's like waking up every day and you don't even know what to do. You don't know what to do at all. You don't know who to talk to, what to say, what conversation works, where to sell. You don't know anything. So you wake up, a month goes by, you generate no leads, you don't even do a freaking lease, and then your mind starts telling you, shit, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe this is harder than it looked. Maybe you should go get a job. And then you get a job, and then that's it. You get a job, right? So it's better as a new agent coming in the industry to join a team, get the direct mentorship, and to take the little pay cut, because I guarantee you 100,000%, you're going to make a lot more doing that than just joining, floating around. Like really and truly. If you're able to just join a brokerage, float around and do well, again, all the power to you. I wish you all the best. But if it was me and I would do it again, I would do the same thing I did. Join a team of high-level realtors and just be around them. Just listen to them on the phone. See how they talk to clients. Shadow them when they're showing property. Shadow them when they're knocking on doors. You know what I mean? So that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And a lot of realtors, they got to put their pride aside. They're like, oh, but I want to be on the sign. Do that. In our team, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. Like it's all you. Like our team. It's not about the team. It's about you. We want to showcase you in the best light possible. I don't want it to be like you join the team and you work with me, and like if you get a listing, like my face is on it. No, your face is on it. It's all you. Like our team gives you a vehicle to come and build a business for yourself and make it all about you. But along the way, you get to leverage the team and all of our accolades, because when you get in the industry, you've sold nothing. Like even if your uncle wants to sell his $1.5 million property, if he's smart, he'll look at you and he'll say, I get it. You're a realtor, but this is a $1.5 million house. I'd love to use you, little Susie, but like, you know, you haven't sold anything, right? But if you join a team that has a track record of success, that's sold $1 billion in the last 10 years, like you get to leverage that credibility. When I was knocking at the very beginning, I wasn't saying, I'm just Paul with Roy LePage. I was saying I'm Paul with the Tyler McClay Realty Group. This is who we are. This is what we've done and what we continue to do. This is how we showcase property and generate the results we do. I would love to sit down with you and earn the opportunity to do business with you. Right? And I would leverage the credibility of the team, right? When you're new and you're just in a brokerage, sure, you can leverage the brokerage, but like, you know, it's better to leverage like a team 100%.
But I feel like even when people leverage a brokerage, not shitting on them, I'm not in the industry, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, like even not being in the industry, you know who the big brokerages are. Like if someone tells me they're a realtor, bad on me, but like my assumption is you're either at one or the other, like of like the bigger names, right? So then when I see someone posting that's more like a smaller team that's more focused, I start diving in. I'm like, oh, he's part of Tyler. Oh, I click Tyler. Oh, look at Tyler's page. Oh, he's on this. Like, and because the team is smaller at first, you get the direct mentorship that you need. You're not just like a number in their system or this massive brokerage that welcome you in and then that's it, man. Figure it out. And then even for me, like if I were to sell a home or whatever, like now because you guys frame yourself as like honestly, basically a family because of the size of the team, like I can literally go and look at Tyler's page, see what he's about. I can look at all your other colleagues. And across the board, even if maybe you post more than others, so on and so forth, you guys all kind of stand for the same thing. And I think Tyler even does a really good job. And you were saying, you know, you're part of the team, but it's you and it's your show. Like he, you know, rewards you guys. You guys have that gong you post. Like he rewards you guys for like doing well. And he's not just a leader that's like, yeah, come to my team. We're going to make good money. I'll teach you this and then buzz off, you know? And I think that's important too, when it's like, you're finding a leader, but a leader that cares, not just a leader that's in it for the paycheck.
Yeah, so he's really big, and we're all really big on value and experience when we when we work with our clients, because, and I'm sure you've seen it, everyone's seen it, the respect that realtors had the last 50 years has dwindled because of what's happened in the last couple of years with rates being so low and access to money being just so easy.
Yeah.
And you had realtors on TikTok dancing, pointing to corners, and it made our industry look bad. It really did. So his goal and our team's goal is to bring back the authority and the respect that realtors deserve.
Yeah.
And that's why he started the whole coaching program. That's why anyone who joins our team, it's not a matter of like how much you sell.
Right.
We don't care. If you want to come here and you want to make $500,000 a year at our team, fantastic. There's room for you. If you want to come and make $60,000 a year, congrats. There's room for you.
Yeah.
But as long as you have the same values as us and you're going to treat clients the way they should be treated, that aligns with our brand, fantastic. We'd love to have you if it's a good fit. Right. So there's been agents that come and it wasn't a good fit and they're somewhere else today, and all the power to them. And then there's agents that see what we're about now. And I have agents that are studying to get their license right now, and they see what we do and they see the force we are in the industry and what we stand for. And they're like, I'd love to work with you. Like, I'm getting my license and I'd love to come. And I'm like, fantastic. I'd love to coach you and mentor you. Let's do it. So the team's huge. Now we have about 25, 26 agents. When we first started, it was just like 6, 7 of us. Over time, some stay, some leave. It is what it is. But I'd say everyone who's there now all stands for the same stuff. Like, we have like 10 pillars of our company. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're like, give a shit, like treat every client like your mother, like stuff like that. Provide value. Don't just, I'm not there to just open lights and open doors. No, like if you think I'm going to come there and just open doors and lights and I'm going to make $20,000, $30,000 on a sale, like that's not me. Like, I'm going to give you the most value possible. I'm going to do everything I can to position you in a way to win and be successful. And that's why we'll get compensated the way we do. Right. So that's huge. Like, big part of the team. And you said it too, like the whole team, it doesn't matter whose page you look at. It's all synchronized. It's all synchronized. The brand is there because that's the way we want it. Right. And if someone posts something on the team and it doesn't align with the brand, or, you know, we don't bash other agents. I'll never bash another agent. You do your thing, all the power 100%. To you. But if we're bashing agents online, you're going to get spoken to, and we're going to let you know, hey, that doesn't align with our brand. Let's not do that, and let's not do that.
100%.
That's it. So, but yeah, team's growing. We're 25 plus agents now. The ages range from everywhere. We have agents that are 21, 22, all the way to 52, right? So as long as you align with the brand and it's a good fit on both ends and we see potential and we want to work with you, fantastic. Now, obviously, like, there's going to be people that come that don't align with the brand, and all the power to them. It is what it is. Like, we'll get a ton of inquiries, and then we'll have to kind of pick and choose who we think would be a good fit, and we go from there. But as of right now, we're growing. We're in growth mode, looking for good people. Always. Like, I'll make posts sometimes too. Like, I'll post a story and I'll be like, hey man, like, I'll show you how to go from zero to 6 figures in a year's time, and I could do that because I've done it. Like, if you want to come work directly with me, no problem at all. But just know, if you're gonna come work with me, like, I'm not fucking around.
It's
like,
serious.
If you tell me you want to come work with me and you want to get to 6 figures, like, I'm gonna say and do whatever it takes to get you there, because that's what you originally wanted to do. Right. And some people who come in, like, I'll ask them, I'll be like, hey man, like, do you want me to be hard on you, or do you want me to, like, be laid back? Because sometimes I don't want to message them and be like, hey, you said you were going to do this and you didn't. But then I sit there and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing them a fucking disservice. So I'll ask them, how do you want to be with me? And they'll say, kick my ass, Paul. I really need it.
Done.
And then I fuck them up. Right. And rightfully so, because that's what they want. Right. So yeah, the team's great. Everyone stands for the same kind of stuff. And yeah, like, we're growing. And last year we were top 18 in Canada, which is massive. Huge. Top 1% in Canada, actually less than top 1%. And there's different kind of agents in our brokerage. Like, I'm the type of agent, you can tell by speaking to me, like, I'm very intense. I'm very sharp. I'm very confident. Like, if you tell me you want to do something, I'll do whatever it takes to get it done for you. Right. Then there's other agents that are more calm and relaxed, and they're going to align with a different kind of client. And it is what it is. Right. 100%. But the people who do business with you because they're going to vibe with you.
It's all energy.
It's all energy. Like, people will call me because they're like, okay, I'm an investor. I know Paul knows Vaughn. I know he knows Mimico. Like, he's the go-to guy. He really is. So I'm going to call him. And the confidence in my voice is like 90% of it. Like, you can tell by the way I speak, like, I know my stuff. I'm very good at what I do. I love what I do. Like, real estate is my life. It's real estate, gym, girlfriend, family. That's my freaking life. It used to be partying, but whatever. That was 10 years ago. But that's my life. So that's the people who are going to do business with you. They're going to vibe with your personal brand. So that's why I'm massive on personal brand. follow this tattoo artist, and he's like, I vibe with him like really well because he says the same stuff I talk about.
Right.
And he talks about the importance of personal brand. And he talks about in his industry how he's able to charge a lot more than the average tattoo artist, even though he's like, dude, you can go get this same tattoo for $1,000 over here. And if you want to, all the power to you. But he said, people consistently keep coming back to me and booking with me. Why? Because I've built a personal brand and they can vibe with me and I've built rapport with them. Yeah. Right. So if you do that and you're just real, like that's another thing. A lot of people on socials, they're just too much. And I'm like, dude, just take a breath, man. Just literally take a breath. When you see me on socials, I'm just myself. Yeah. I'm chills. My legs are crossed. Yeah. I'm holding a freaking espresso cup, having an espresso. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't need to put on a show and act like cooler than I am. Yeah. I'm already sick. But
that goes to confidence, though. Not to cut you off, but you have confidence in your knowledge. You have confidence in your field. And you have confidence in you. If someone doesn't have confidence in themselves, even if they have all the knowledge in the world, they're going to come to me and be like, so I think you should like sell this time. And I'm gonna be like, are you sure about that? Because it doesn't sound like it, right? Yeah. And I told you before, when I watch your videos, I feel like you're in front of me just like shooting the shit. And like, that's a big factor in like, charisma, but just like making someone feel comfortable through a screen. And I find with socials, so many people have excuses. I don't have 10,000 followers. I'm not gonna make a sale. Or I don't know how to talk or whatever. I always say, if I see you online, when I meet you in person, it should be the exact same thing. Yeah. If you have a fucking stutter, great. I want to hear it when I'm in person. Not that it's perfected, and then when I see you in person, you're stuttering, because now I'm like, you're faking it. Like, I'm all about raw and authentic. That's the way you're going to grow. That's the way people build connection with you, right? And like, personal brand, post your hobbies, post your likes, post your interests. People just message me now because I started playing golf. Oh my God, you golf? Like, let's go on the course. Yeah, I'm down. But like, then that leads to, oh, what do you do? So on and so forth, right? Yep. So I think even like for you, just quickly to touch on, because you have a lot of cool hobbies too, fitness specifically, have you found that like, obviously you're very like accountable and like disciplined when it comes to it, but does it help you navigate a lot of maybe like the tribulations you face, like taking a loss, you know, get in the gym, doing something healthy rather than sitting in your shit and like sitting in a corner and doing nothing? Yeah,
I'd say like that's, I dedicate like 90% of my business to being in the gym and taking care of myself at the highest level. Like, I'm super passionate on this stuff because I've seen what it did for my life. Right. Like, I've been in sales my whole life, as you know. Yeah. Always been commission, because that's just the way I've done it. Always been commission, and there was always a massive correlation between my income and the sales and how I was taking care of myself. Like, it was insane. It would blow my mind. And then I'll get to why I am the way I am. Yeah. There would be times when I was selling life insurance, I wouldn't sell for like a whole week. And you're on commission, so you're like, what the hell?
You're basically unemployed till you sell.
Yeah, so I wouldn't sell a single thing. And then at the end of the week, I would like reevaluate my calls, listen to my calls. And it wasn't the fucking calls. Yeah. I took a step back and I looked at who I was being in my life. And I was like, wow, I made 0 sales last week. I also didn't go to the gym. I ate like shit. I surrounded myself by losers. I was probably watching garbage TV and just not doing what I knew I was supposed to be doing. And that translated into 0 sales. So I was like, okay, if that's the case, then let me get back on track. So Monday, I'm starting. Even just the thought of getting back on track, Monday morning, I swear to God, it fucking blows my mind. Monday morning, first call, sell something, make like $2,000. And I'm like, wow. Holy shit. Yeah. It's like, and that's why I'm so big on the universe and God and all this stuff, because I've seen what it did. And so I would make a call and I would make a sale and I'd be like, holy shit, like, clearly I need to be disciplined in every area and I need to be able to control the controllables, because when I'm on point, good things happen. Right. When I'm not doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing, nothing happens and I make no money, right? So now I'm at the point where being disciplined for me is like breathing now, because I've been disciplined for so long because I see what it's done, right? Like, good stuff happens when you're doing what you need to do. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, and then I got back to fitness, I was just like knocking on doors. A random guy, I didn't even knock on his house. He was like walking the street with his family. Yeah. He was like, hey, are you a realtor? And I was just like, yeah, of course, what's up? Start shooting the shit. And he's like, we live here, we're renting, and we want to buy, give me a card, whatever. Boom. That happened because I was disciplined enough to actually go out there and do what I said I was going to do. And that happened because I was disciplined enough to go to the gym in the morning and set myself up in the best way possible. Right. Like, so we have a group chat in our work. It's like the main group chat with like 25, 30 agents. And then we have like a side group chat.
Right.
And I started it. It's called High Accountability, Super Accountable, High Accountability Group, something like that. Like Super Accountable Group, whatever. And this is for the people that I started it. And I said, hey, like I'm doing this selfish because I'm disciplined, but also I'm human. I'm not disciplined all the time. So I would love for someone to hold me accountable. And if anyone else wants to be held accountable as well, then let's start a group chat. So now there's like 8 or 9 of us in there.
Cool.
And basically that's where I can like be a little bit more savage.
For sure, yeah.
And I can text them and be like, hey guys, like you said you were going to go to the gym yesterday and clearly you fucking didn't. And clearly you haven't sold something in 2-3 weeks and you're here complaining. Like it's you're not doing what you know you need to be doing.
Right.
As soon as you fix the discipline part in your life and you do what you know you need to be doing, shit just starts happening. It's like fucking magic. Yeah. Like your phone literally starts ringing. Yeah. Like people start messaging you. Like stuff has happened to me in my life, in my business, where I was in the best shape of my life, so on point, phone's ringing, people are messaging me, I want to buy. And I was like, it's like magic. Yeah. Literally, it's like magic, but it's the universe rewarding me for doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. Right. Right. And also, just to touch on putting, a little bit off topic, but we talked about it a little bit before, just putting your trust in God and not being and managing your emotions. When bad shit happens, it happens for a reason, right? When I got into the life insurance industry, I told you, I had my life at the palm of my fingers. Like I was on track to do very well, had a big team, 20, 30 agents, and I was about to just destroy life at like as a 19-year-old, right? I lost it. And then also it took me 7 or 8 years to build myself back up and really be the person I know I was supposed to be and make the money I was supposed to make. And I look back and I'm like, I told my mom, I'm like, Ma, holy shit. I'm like, thank God I wasn't making that kind of money at 19 because I would have been dead. Yeah. I actually would have been dead because I was still young. I was irresponsible. I probably would have been drinking and driving, being an animal, just partying like crazy. And thank God I wasn't, because now I'm here and I'm able to be the person that I know I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So 10 years later, I look back and now I apply that to every area of my life. So if anything bad happens, bugs me for like a millisecond, and I'm like, God has a plan, man. Like something good is going to come from this. It might not happen now. It might not happen in a year, but I'm going to look back at this moment in 5 years and I'm going to realize, holy shit, that's why it didn't happen. Right. And that's it's going to position me in a better way. That's nice. So I'm huge on that, super huge on that. But when it comes to the fitness, how do you expect to show up as the best version of yourself, the best son, the best colleague, the best agent, if you're not controlling the controllables? Like when I wake up in the morning, I wake up as early as I can, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I go to the gym. Lately, I've been running a 5K. Wow. People think I'm nuts. Running a 5K. I'll work out. I'm back at my computer by probably 7 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm flying, right? I'll probably send 50 to 100 emails before the average realtor wakes up and is cleaning the shit out of their eyes to go make a fucking coffee. Wow. Like, honestly. Yeah. Why? Because I'm committed to a high level of success and I'm committed to getting a certain level of success. Yeah. Right? So I'll shoot the shit with my buddies in the group and they'll be like, hey man, like, what's going on? What does everyone have doing today? And they'll be like, oh, I just got up. I'm like, buddy, you just got up. If you go up against a guy like me, you're fucking done. Yeah. I promise. If you sit down at the table with a client and you're showcasing our service and what you're doing, like I promise you they're going to use me because they're just going to sense I'm a guy that's going to lead them to the promised land. Right. Right. And being like, you don't have to be jacked, right? Yeah. Like it's not 100%. About being jacked. It's just about taking care of yourself and feeling good and positioning yourself in a state that's gonna have you want to work, right? If I'm overweight and I'm gonna be lethargic, I'm gonna have low energy. Like I've been overweight. I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday, and during Christmas season, like this Christmas, I was overweight. And I saw pictures of myself. I'm like, I looked like 50, man. I'm like, I'm 28, dude. I looked 50. Yeah. I remember she had her friends miss at the condo. And we had like lasagna, all this shit, whatever. That was the biggest I've been in years. I was like 180 pounds. Wow. And I'm a shorter guy. So like that's pretty big. Yeah. And I told her, like, we had dinner. I was like, babe, like, I didn't tell her this in the moment. I told her weeks later. I'm like, I just like wanted to go to bed after. Like, I was just fucking exhausted, you know?
But that's just a natural side effect of like being overweight.
Why? Because, okay, during the holidays, it's fine. Like, whatever. Like, you want to let loose. But just in general in life, like, if you're overweight, you're tired. You're low energy. You're not going to, in my industry, you're not going to want to pick up the phone and talk. So you're not going to want to go to events because of how you look, because you're not going to feel confident in yourself, right? And also, like, even if you do go to those events, are you going to be able to perform at the highest level? Are you going to be sharp? Probably not. Like, I'm the sharpest in my life and I'm the most energetic when I'm in shape and I'm taking care of myself and I'm in the gym in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so big on taking care of yourself. I tell my colleagues, I'm like, dude, you said you were going to go, like my buddy Danny, he'll watch this. So I'm like, you said you're going to go on the bike 3 times this week and then you haven't gone once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'll be like, dude, this is the type of stuff that generates to more sales. Like, you need to be disciplined in every area. And like, obviously I'm very intense, but I want to achieve a certain level of success. And this is the level of discipline that comes with it.
Yeah.
If you want to come here and you want to make $100,000 in a year as a realtor, it's very easy.
Yeah.
It's very easy to make $100,000 in a year. Like, you don't have to be as intense as me.
Right.
You can work a couple days a week.
Yeah.
Okay, not a couple. You got to be good still, but it is easy, right? Easier. But if you want to achieve a certain level of success, like, you got to control the controllables, and that's not just food and the gym. That's food, the gym, who you surround yourself by. If I'm hanging out with 5 bums, I'm very likely going to be the 6th bum.
Yeah.
I'm very likely going to start thinking and acting and speaking like them.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm huge on the law of association. That's why I only like to hang out with people that are either doing what I'm doing or doing even better.
Right.
Like, I don't like when I'm in a room and I'm the most intense or I'm doing the best in whatever I'm doing, right? Because I want to be in the room with someone who looks at me and I look at them and I'm like, holy fuck, man, how are you doing that? Obviously, like, I'm not doing enough, so let me get to work.
Yeah.
Right? So that's who I like to surround myself by.
What would you say is something you figured out later in the real estate game that you could tell like a new agent now to kind of instill at the beginning that you wish you had done earlier?
Definitely get on socials right away. Definitely get on socials. Definitely just all the stuff we talked about. Like, definitely get the right mentorship. Yeah. And just be ready for just mental warfare. Like, it's absolute mental warfare industry. Like, our industry is one of the hardest to survive in, especially because there's so many people. Like, the competition's just crazy. So get ready for the mental warfare and develop that mental callus sooner rather than later, because like, I got into the industry and I'd say I got lucky, but also not really, because I got licensed and I had a listing and a buy right away.
Wow.
Like, before I was even licensed, I had a listing like lined up. Why? That's just because of who I was in life that had my friend, trust me and refer me over, right? So I would say start socials very, very early on. Be consistent. Even if you're not seeing the results, doesn't matter. You're not going to see them right away. But you need to start. A lot of people in life, in business, in real estate, they live backwards. They want to have the things first, then they're going to do what they have to do, then they're going to be that person. And it's like, no, dude, I've been being someone making the money I'm making now when I wasn't making it. If I was making under 6 figures, I was being the person worthy of earning multiple 6 figures plus, right? Because I knew, okay, I have to be that person first. I have to do whatever it takes, and then I'm gonna have the stuff and the income and the sales and the authority and the referrals, right? So a lot of people they'll sit there and they'll say, I want a buyer, I want a listing. Okay, dude, how about if I gave you a buyer right now? Would you even know what to do? Would you even know what to say to like introduce yourself and guide them along the way? Probably not. You would fumble it and then you were back at square one. So I'm big on working on yourself on the back end to prepare yourself for when you're out there in the field, right? The reason I'm able to go out there and meet someone, be charismatic, and earn their business, if there's business to be had, is because of all the work I've put in on the back end. Like, I don't know how many books I've read. I've read hundreds of books. I've watched hundreds of podcasts. I've a lot of the times in the last 10 years when my friends were going out to the club, I was not. I was back home. I was reading a book, and at the time I felt like a loser. Decent looking freaking 25-year-old. I should be at the club. I'm at home and I'm protecting my mind, because if I'm out there, my mind is just getting toxified 100%. And I'm reading books and I'm looking at sales seminars and I'm just trying to do whatever it takes to build me up as a salesman and as an individual, right? And then 10 years later, boom, it looks like I get into the industry and I'm like a freaking overnight success. But you didn't see the last 10 years what I was doing and all the doors that got shut on my face and all the people that, told me to kind of fuck off on their driveway. That was everything I had to go through to be the person I am today. But if someone sees me today, they're like, holy shit, the guy's so confident. The guy's like really good. And, they don't know what it takes, but that's what it takes. You have to, and it takes a certain amount of time. Like it's not going to happen in a couple months. You need to be willing to put your head down, go to work, and do everything that works for a very long time before you even get a sniff of success. Yep. I had someone on my team, within our team. He's not directly on my team, but in my team. And it was like 4 or 5 months in, and he's the type of guy like me. Like, you want it now. You want it now. Everyone wants it now. You want it now, and you're putting in the work, and you're not really seeing the success. And like, I had so many heart-to-hearts with him, and I sat down and I said, dude, like, trust me when I tell you, you're doing the right things. Yeah. You just need to stay consistent, and you need to keep pushing. And I promise you, there's going to be one day where you see just a little hint of success. And that little hint of success is going to give you the motivation to continue on to the next task. And I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. He's like, are you sure? Like, there's nothing else? I'm like, there's always more you could be doing, but what you're doing right now is a formula for success, and it's a formula for being a very good agent in the next year. So just put your head down, keep doing what you're doing, just block out the outside noise, and just go to work, right? Yeah. Fast forward a year later, and he made his 6 figures.
Wow.
And I joke. I'm like, dude, do you remember all the times I sat down with you and I told you, just, you got to keep fucking pushing. You're doing the right things. You got to keep pushing. And it's like going to the gym. You go to the gym for maybe 2 months, and you might see like a new little line. Yeah. Or you might see a new vein. Yeah. And then you're like, shit, man, like that's unreal. And then you're like in the freaking mirror like this. And then you're like, okay, like, that's going to motivate me to keep going, right? Yeah. The average person, they'll do something. They'll go to the gym for like a week. It doesn't work. Yeah. And this isn't working. I'm going to go back to get a normal job, or I'm going to go do something else. All the power to you, man. But if you have the mental strength to push through, I tell everyone, like, I love my life. Yeah. Like, I love my life. I'm super happy. Like, why? Because I've trained my mind to be happy and to be grateful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Bad shit happens to everyone. The same shit that's going to happen to another agent and they're crying, that shit's happened to me times 10. But I'm not going to sit there and dwell. I'm going to be grateful I even have the opportunity to go out there and generate business. Yeah. I'm going to be grateful I got to wake up and I have a healthy family, you know, and everyone's doing well. A lot of people, you know, they've had people that have had loss in their family. People are sick. Like, I see people on TikTok, their kids were born with, you know, certain deformities. And I'm like, wow, man, like, you know, and they're happy. I'm like, I think it was Ed Milet, he talked about how he walked into, you know, Ed Milet, he's like one of those Alex Hormozy business guys. Gotcha, he's one of those business guys. And he basically talked about how there was a point in his life where he was just so down on himself, and he was so angry and resentful because shit wasn't going his way. Yeah. And then he walked into a restaurant to like go sit with his buddy, and then a nice little old lady walked in, and she had a bonnet on. He said clearly she was fighting cancer. Yeah. And she was walking in with her partner. They sat down, and she looked over, and she basically just gave him like the warmest smile ever. Wow. And his buddy said, you know what, man? He's like, what are you grateful for in your life right now? And he's just like, you know what? Like, nothing, man. Nothing seems to be working. Wow. This is shit. I've been working for so long. And his buddy said, you know what? That's pretty freaking pathetic, man. Yeah. Right? Because you have it a lot better than the average person. Yeah. Right? So I apply that to business. I apply that to everything. When shit doesn't go well, I take a step back, and I'm like, you know what? Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I have a healthy family. I'm healthy. I have good friends around me. Yeah. Stuff's going amazing. And what? Just because this deal didn't go through, now I'm going to dwell and be angry and be resentful? Yeah. No. I'm grateful for what I have, and that gratitude that I have actually motivates me to work more. For sure. Yeah. Right. So I'm huge on that. I'm huge on the discipline with the gym and taking care of yourself and just positioning yourself in a way to win. Because, you know, if I'm not doing that and I'm not getting results, then I can't complain. For sure. Right? Like, if you're going to complain, I'll tell you, dude, fuck off. Yeah. Like, you know what you should be doing. You're not doing it. And that's why you're not seeing the results. Yeah. If you want to make that kind of money and you want to sell that amount of real estate in our industry, this is what you need to do. Did you end up going to that networking event and meeting someone? Yeah. No. Did you end up going door knocking? No, it was too cold. Yeah. Well, fuck, I'm out there when it's cold. I hate it. Like, I don't hate it, but I hate the cold. Yeah. Right? So, but I know this is going to generate business. This is what you need to do. So it's either you be disciplined enough to do what you're supposed to do, or you don't, but don't complain after, because I don't want to hear it. Yeah, for sure. So I guess to wrap things up here, my final question I usually ask my guests, what's one piece of advice you'd give to like your 16-year-old self, like 16-year-old Paul, based off where you are today? Yeah, 16-year-old Paul, I would tell him to basically just stick with sales, to spend as much time with family as you can, because family is everything. A lot of people say, like money doesn't buy you happiness. It's all about family. And I agree. I also agree that money can buy you short-term happiness. It's not going to buy you fulfillment. But I'll tell you this, if I buy a Lamborghini Aventador and I'm sitting in it and I'm absolutely just ripping around Vaughn in it, I'm going to be happy. Like you can't tell me I'm not happy. Yeah. I'm not going to be fulfilled. What's going to fulfill me is, the things that I get to do with family and the things I get to do in my workplace and accolades I get to achieve and how I'm able to give back. Now I'm passionate about giving back to new agents. Yeah. Because if they're getting in the industry and they want to achieve a certain level of success and they're willing to work for it, yeah, then no problem at all. I'll give you everything I've got, and I can get you to a very, very good level. I promise you that. So advice I would give to myself is work hard, be disciplined, and do everything you can to just position yourself in a way to be the best version of yourself, whether that's the best son, the best boyfriend, the best agent, just the best everything. You know what I mean? And that's just going to equal a happy and healthy life.
I love that. I love asking that question, hearing people's perspectives. But thank you for coming on the podcast today. You guys heard him here himself. If you have any questions for Paul, you can hear his personality. You sense his energy. Shoot him a message. He'd be happy to help you guys out. As you know, like, subscribe, do your thing, share, and show him some love. I'm going to tag his handles in YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the places this gets shout out to. Thank you for watching and for supporting. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, this was great. No, thanks so much, and I really appreciate it, and looking forward to the next one.